Welcome in to a live edition of the Raiders Report here on a Tuesday. Obviously, you got the second team in. Jeremy Chuggs hosting today. Mitchell Renz still out with an eye injury. Got my man Cullen Brown. You might know him as Luigi, which all of a sudden has become very controversial in today's society. But either way, we're still bringing you Raiders news and rumors. We're still bringing you the latest around the team in Las Vegas. Coming up on today's show, Aidan O'Connell. What the hell? What the hell, Aidan? What are we doing? Shedeur, is he a package deal? And we are talking Raiders mailbag. I want to hear from you folks out there. It's going to be a special Raiders mailbag. This edition of a Raiders mailbag is going to be, what do you think the Raiders need to do this offseason to turn things around? I want your hot takes. I want everything that you think the Raiders must do this offseason. So make sure you're using that hashtag Raiders. Make sure you're super chatting on today's show. And as I mentioned, our main man, Mitch, the triple M, the quadruple M, my main man, Mitch, is out for looks like maybe the rest of the week. We'll see how he's feeling in the next couple days. But either way, not able to come in today. So go down and spam those 365s for my main man, Mitch. Wish him a speedy recovery. We got 300 people in the chat. Can we get 300 365s going? Can we get 300 365 going in the chat? Because I know he's watching at home, and it's going to make him feel a lot better knowing that he's got the nation behind him. He puts his life on the line every single day, every single week for this team. So I want y'all to show him that love right back. Mitch, I know you're watching. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit better today. Speedy recovery. Hopefully you're in a cool, dark place. Got maybe some covers on. Resting as you should. We have a super chat already on today's show. JRO182. Hear me out. Signed Sam Hartman from Commander's practice squad. Will still tank. He'll get experience, and women will show up to watch him. We might put this in the mailbag later, Colin. We might have to put this in the mailbag later. This is J-Ro maybe Mark Davis.
Maybe.
This is about the money. This is saying, we might be able to get some more money if we go out and sign Sam Hartman, the heartthrob of all the ladies out there. Oh, Rebel says Mike is muted.
Mike, no, you're on.
I'm on. Oh, Rebel, you're are you sure, Rebel? I think I'm okay.
I hear you.
Yeah, Rebel, check your sound. Yeah, Rebel, you might check your sound, bud. It might be on your end. Because we're all looking good over here. You scared me for a second, Rebel.
Yeah.
I saw Cullen jump.
I was like,
you scared me. But either way, one of the topics on today's show is, what the hell, Aidan?
What the hell?
He was out for the season. Now he's miraculously fine. You put an air cast on somebody for a bruise. That seems a little weird. He got carted off, but he might play on Monday night. Let me know. Were you surprised with the AOC injury news? Because I was perplexed. I thought Aidan was going to be out for the rest of the year. I was like, oh well, maybe Desmond Ridder time, maybe this, that, and the other. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, it's Adam Schefter's reporting, yeah, he's perfectly fine. He might play on Monday. So we went from being out for the season to possibly playing on Monday Night Football. I don't know. You had so many people going out and reporting like, his own head coach was saying, yeah, it's not looking good. So you get carted off in an air cast, and it's not looking good. And then the day later,
it's a bone bruise.
2K post, perfect answer right there. He got that Karate Kid treatment. Mr. Miyagi came in with the little fireball, the cotton ball, and he just rubbed it on there a little bit and said, hey, we're all good. We're all good. And miraculously, he is okay. Nathan Wolf, I see your super chat. Thank you so much. We'll get to that in just a moment, but got to show some love to the sponsors of today's program. First, let me tell you a little bit about our sponsor over in Prize Picks. All you got to do, choose two or more players from any sport, go more or less on their projected stat types, and place your entry. It's really that easy. This is the lineup that I cooked up real quick for this Monday Night Football matchup between the Raiders and the Falcons. Give me the Brock Bowers more on receiving yards. There's not a ton on Prize Picks right now for the Raiders. just because we don't know who's going to be the quarterback. So a lot of question marks around that. Bijan more on the rush yards, and then Kirk Cousins. I'm going to go less on the pass yards. He's been very sus the past couple of weeks. You can use my picks or go against my picks. Just do it on Prize Picks. Code CLNS, $50 instantly when you pay $5. And then our other sponsor of today's show is Game Time, the best place for last-second tickets. Go check out Game Time today. First-time users on the Game Time app, you get $20 off your first purchase when you use code CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. Once again, use that code CHATSPORTS. $20 off your first purchase over on Game Time. They have tickets all the way up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. So go check them out today, whether you're in Las Vegas, whether you're in Dallas, whether you're in New York, whether you're in Miami, wherever you're at, Game Time has you covered with the best tickets to sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, and more. Go check them out today over on the Game Time app. We have another super chat coming in from my guy, Nathan Wolf. I know, QB, most important position, but not top QBs this year than other years. Little reach, but 50-50 on best player available or trade back. Was leading QB all year too. Thoughts? I think you got to go quarterback. I mean, regardless if I know it sucks that this year's draft, the two quarterbacks probably aren't top 5 prospects in this year's draft, if we're being honest. If we're talking not looking at position at all, just how good they are and how good they are coming into the NFL. Yeah. I don't think Cam Ward or Shedeur are top 5 in this draft, but they play the most important position on the field, which is quarterback. And if you're in Las Vegas, that's what you've been absolutely dying for the past couple seasons. So you gotta make sure that you get that position right. And it 100%. Might not be the best guy on the board, which that worked out for the Raiders this past year, going with Brock Bowers, going with JPJ, best guys on the board, BPA. But at the same time, you need that quarterback. You absolutely do. So Nathan, I hear you, but I gotta go with going with the quarterback position. Yeah. That was a good question. I see another one from my main man, Mitch, down in the comment section using that hashtag Raiders. So get down in the comment section. Use hashtag Raiders to get on the show today. I want the mailbag to be what the Raiders need to do this offseason. How do they turn this thing around? What do you think the Raiders need to do? It doesn't necessarily even have to be a question. You can give me your thoughts. You can tell me what you think the Raiders need to do this offseason. Use that hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to get on the show. And I see J-Ro Super Chatting again. And that actually reminds me, before we go to that, can we tell them the special deals that we have on tap for all y'all today? 383 people watching. If you are brand new to the channel, we have a special bang deal going on today. So this is how we're going to do it. The first bang is going to equal 1. Second bang equals 2. Third bang equals 3. Fourth bang equals 4. And if you hit the gong, that means you got 15 bangs today. The reason why that's important is, 1, me and Luigi or Cullen. We were saying it might be a little controversial, but
it's whatever.
Me or Luigi's doing a boot for every gong hit today. And if that's not incentive enough, we have a December bang race going on. And this month's winner gets something that no other month has gotten so far. We have a special edition 1800 Raiders tequila bottle. They don't sell these. This was gifted to us from the 1800 brand. They sent us out this bottle. We're going to send this away to the December Bang MVP. So currently, Nathan Wolf is 1, Common Raider 2, Rebel Montana is 3. If you want to get your hands on the special edition Raiders 1800 bottle, this is going to look nice on somebody's bar cart, on somebody's bar, however you want to do it. You don't have to do it, but I said if you win, you should save this for when the Raiders win a Super Bowl. Crack this baby open when the Raiders win the Super Bowl. I think this will be maybe a nice gift to somebody. Special edition, like I said, you can't get these out there. This was sent to us by 1800. The December Bang Race MVP is going to get this bad boy today. J-Ro with the Super Chat. Khalil Mack is a free agent in 2025. Raiders reunion? Maybe, but as bad as it sounds, I think the fact that you had Malcolm Kuntz, who was an ascending young player, he got hurt. We weren't able to see him at all this season. I think they might bring him back on a cheap contract, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal for next season rather than Khalil Mack, who is still a good player, is going to, want a hefty price tag to sign. I think it's more likely that they sign Malcolm Kuntz to another 1 or 2 year contract or go out and sign another defensive end, edge rusher at a cheaper contract than what they would get Khalil Mack, just because they've already, they have a ton of guys they got to re-sign. They have a lot of holes on the offense and the defense. I don't know if they want to allocate that money to bring back Khalil Mack. I think it'll be a little bit too expensive to bring him back this offseason. Speaking of holes on the Raiders team, the biggest hole, obviously, giggity, is the quarterback position. So I want to know, what are the odds that Shedeur is the next Raiders quarterback? Scale it 1 to 100. 1, no chance at all he's going to be the Raiders quarterback. 100, you think it's already done. It's already happened. Shedeur is a Raider at this point. Let me know down in the comment section. 1 to 100. 1, no shot at all. 100, you think it is going down. Cully, what do we think? What do you think about Shedeur being a Raider?
I think it's definitely more than 50. The rumors, the thank you God tweets, the just everything around that family. It screams Raiders.
Yeah.
Does it not? So I'm gonna give it a 60.
Yeah.
Flat 60.
I feel that. I don't want to give away my answer just yet because we're going to be talking about it on the show. I did see Adam Sweeney comment in the comment section that Caleb on Chasen is also another guy who the Raiders, he's been balling out on this defensive line for Las Vegas. He could be another guy that the Raiders look to bring back next year on maybe a 1 or 2 year contract at the defensive end spot. Another good name that is out there. I see Mark P says 99. Luis says 100. Rebel says Snowden as well. Yeah. I see 75 from Raider Nation. I see 95 from Kevin. I see Zalesbo says 98. Kenneth says 1,000. Luis says 100. Big Luck says 80. 69 from Rebel and Joshua. Of course, you got to go with 69. And if you want something to put a smile on your face today, Mitch sent me this, and he said, this made me a little bit happier today. He's down in the dumps right now. He's coming back from that eye injury. We're obviously wishing the best for Mitchell Renz, but he sent me this, put a little bit of smile on his face. Adam Schefter put this out today. Chiefs are 0-7 against the spread in their last 7 games. No team has ever gone on to win the Super Bowl in the same season it had a 6-game against the spread losing streak. So, maybe some good news for Raider Nation. I know the Raiders are already out of it, but at least it'll make it a little bit sweeter to know that the Chiefs are going up against another hurdle, and hopefully they don't make the Super Bowl. If that put a smile on your face, if it puts a little bit of a smile on your face, thinking about the Chiefs losing in the playoffs, thinking about Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift crying together at Arrowhead Stadium, like the video. Hit that thumbs up icon. We got 357 people watching. We have 140 likes. Let's get to 200 likes on the show. If that makes you a little happy, just thinking about a Chiefs loss, I know it makes me giddy. It makes me feel like a young schoolboy once again.
Yeah, because it's like a universal thing. When the Chiefs lose, we all win. So
yeah.
Let's get the good vibes going, man.
The Chiefs losing is like, it's like heartwarming. It's
yes.
like, the Chiefs losing is like when you're at a game and they have, the wife of somebody who's serving in the military out at the 50-yard line, and then they show up when they're not supposed to be there, and then they run and hug each other, and everybody's standing and clapping. That's the rest of us when the Chiefs lose in the playoffs. It's like a feel-good moment. Everybody hug your kids just a little tighter because Patrick Mahomes can't hurt you anymore. That's how I feel whenever I see the Chiefs lose. That same feeling. I see the Dwyer says, good job, Chuggs, on pinch hitting for Chuggs. Hey, a little golden bat rule here on the Raiders Report. A little golden bat rule. Anytime you need big old Chugger, just
While we're getting ready for this live show and all the segments in it, keep hitting that like button. Let us know down in the comments below. Are you team golden bat rule or team non-golden bat rule? Down below.
I'm the lone golden batter in the office. Everybody laughs at me, and you know what? That's fine. The best and brightest minds, they weren't understood in their time. Picasso, Van Gogh, whenever they were alive, their art was worthless because people didn't see the genius. People didn't see the method behind the madness. And that's how I feel in this offense sometimes with everybody going against me on the Golden Bat Rule and some other things. The people in this office, they're just too short-minded. They don't see, they don't see the final picture. They don't see the big picture, Cullen. And that's okay. Just like Van Gogh, just like Picasso, maybe I'm a little misunderstood in my time, but hey, the greatest that ever lived, usually that's the case.
Yeah.
Usually that's the case.
Yeah, Picasso, Van Gogh, Chuggs. Just
those three.
Yeah.
You know who else didn't go to college? Kobe, Tracy McGrady. Look how they turned out. J-Ro with another super chat. If Chuggs makes the final call, you picking Sanders or Ward with the first round pick? What are the odds they take Travis Hunter first? This is another good one for the mailbag. If I'm making the final call with everything considered, I think I'm still going Sanders. I think I'm still you have to go quarterback, and in that case, it's either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. I think you go Shedeur. I mean, I haven't seen anybody the past couple seasons, maybe JPJ. I haven't seen anybody the past couple seasons that wants to be a Raider more than Shedeur Sanders. Seems like he wants to be a Raider. I mean, he's been, posting on IG, cryptic posts on Twitter. Thank you, God. Legendary, going towards the Allegiant Stadium, wearing the silver and black cleats. I mean, this dude wants to be a Raider so bad. And don't you want that for your team? Don't you want somebody who has pride in putting on that jersey? Don't you want somebody that wants to represent your fan base? That could go a long way, especially in the locker room. I know I've been, especially at the beginning of the season, I was kind of down on Shedeur, and I was questioning a lot of, his antics, a lot of the stuff that go along with it. But at the end of the day, I do think it's the best option for the Raiders at this point to go with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, if you're not drafting one of those two, who are you getting at quarterback? Are you sticking with AOC? Are you trying to go after Sam Darnold? Are you trying to go after one of the Falcons QBs? I mean, it's just a lot of unquestions, left at that point. So, yeah, I agree. I think you have to take either Shedeur or Cam Ward.
Suavemente up next on the Raiders Report. He says, Chuggs, poems called the people in this office downloading. Did I misread that?
Chuggs poems. I'll call them people. I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to get at.
I think you might have forgotten one word in there, Noah, and it'll make a lot of sense when you comment down below. But hey, I'm not disparaging anybody else in the office. I'm just saying they don't see the big picture. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of baseball purists in the office, and I bet you these are some of the same people that were like, the pitch clock, I don't know how it's going to do. It's the best thing that's happened to baseball. I mean, people want to see exciting baseball. Golden Bat Rule will just do just that. And as I said before, some people in the office, they just don't see the vision. Raider Man 01, Raiders on Prime, with Prime next season, just win, baby. If this happens, could you imagine also Raiders Prime with Prime on Thursday night on Amazon Prime?
I mean,
that's a lot of Prime.
It's a lot of Prime.
That's a lot of Prime.
Are you
David Zahn in the chat, my guy.
What up, Zahn? What up, Zahn?
Zahn here. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. David. Zahn. David. And a reminder, what is coming up on today's show? Aidan O'Connell. WTF. What the hell is going on with you, bud? Also, Shedeur, is he a package deal? And we're talking a little Raiders mailbag later on in today's show. Remember, have a special bang deal going on, and the December Bang Race MVP gets this special edition 1800 Raiders tequila bottle. You can't buy these in store. This was gifted to us. Actually, buy the 1800 brand. They sent this out to us, and I do hope whoever gets this, if you could, wait until the Raiders win a Super Bowl, then crack this bad boy open. Leave it on display. It's an absolute dope kind of thing to have on your, bar cart, wherever you got. I think this is going to be really, really cool. Taino says, just got in. Salute, Chuggs. How's Mitch? Mitch is doing good. He's actually watching. He said he's going to watch parts of the show. He felt really good seeing everybody showing him some support down in the comment section. So it really does mean a lot for all y'all showing up and still being here. Let's get into today's show, Colin. Let's get into all the action we have on today's show. We're first going to talk about Aidan O'Connell, all the craziness that's gone on with him over the past 24 hours, and a lot more fun in store for the rest of the show. If you could, one more time, Taino mentioned it. Can we get some more 365s in the chat? 450 people watching. Can we get 400 365s in the chat? I know Mitch is watching. I want to send him my best wishes. He's really been struggling because I know how much he loves this show. I know how much he loves making content for Raider Nation, being with all of you guys, and it definitely is hurting him not being able to come in and be available for you guys. So show him some love. I know he's trying to get back as soon as he possibly can, but drop those 365s down in the comment section one more time for Mitch as we get started on today's live show. Cullen, you ready to rock? All right, let's roll. Here, coming up first, the latest news and rumors around Aidan O'Connell. What in the world is going on with Aidan O'Connell and his injury? It's been a roller coaster ride over the past 48 hours with AOC. I mean, he gets carted off the field. It looks like the season's done for, and not so fast, sweetheart. Aidan O'Connell looks like he's perfectly fine. It's just a bruise, apparently. So I'm going to ask all you at home, what is the percent chance AOC plays on Monday against the Atlanta Falcons? Scale it 1 to 101. No shot at all. There's no way that he's playing Monday Night Football. 100. You think Aiden's going to suit up and go back out there? You think it's definitely going to happen? Let me know down in the comment section the percent chance AOC plays on Monday night. And obviously, the reason we're talking about this, as I mentioned, he left the game on a cart in an air cast. I mean, usually that doesn't happen unless you're pretty injured in the NFL. Multiple people reporting that he was likely done for the season. And even after the game, his own head coach, Antonio Pierce, on the Aidan O'Connell injury, and I quote, "It's not looking good." Usually not looking good and knee injury combined means out for the season, out for a couple weeks at least. But that might not be the case with Aidan O'Connell. This coming in from Adam Schefter yesterday. He says tests on QB Aidan O'Connell's knee injury today revealed a bone bruise and he would like to play Monday night versus the Falcons per a source. Sorry, excuse me for thinking that the guy that carted off was hurt. I mean, I'm just as shocked as everyone else. I made a video that went out yesterday around Aidan O'Connell being out for the season and that it was Desmond Ridder time. And, I mean, pie in my face, look at me, because I was wrong. Apparently, Aidan O'Connell, he's perfectly fine. He's just got a big bad boo-boo on his knee. And he'll be apparently maybe able to go as soon as this week up against the Atlanta Falcons. And if you missed it, this was the scene this past Sunday up against Tampa Bay. It was really weird. I mean, from all the pictures, from all the videos, from everything, it did look like Aidan's season was done. So the question is, Desmond Ridder, who I thought was going to be the starter, is he not starting anymore? Is he no longer the guy? Maybe. If Aidan's not able to go, it definitely will be Desmond Ridder. But the Raiders, they did a little bit more insurance in the past 24 hours as well. Carter Bradley, he was on the practice squad. He is now signed to the active roster, so he'll be able to go if need be. And then to replace him on the practice squad, the Raiders went ahead and they signed Jake Luton, former quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's kind of bounced around from team to team. He will now join the Raiders practice squad as their quarterback on that unit. Some other roster moves that the Raiders made today. Zamir White has been moved to the reserve injured list. Tyler Manoa was signed to the practice squad, and Marquand McCall was released from the practice squad. So just some, ins and outs, some odds and ends that the Raiders made today. Coming up in just a moment, why Aidan might just play on Monday Night Football. I know we're all thinking, is he really going to play? Is it likely that he plays? I'll tell you why he might try to trot out there up against the Atlanta Falcons. But first, got to show some love to our sponsor of today's program, and that is Game Time, my go-to ticketing app, and it should be your go-to ticketing app as well. I love watching football games live. I love watching sporting events live, and the best place to get tickets to do that is with today's sponsor, Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Curated deals make it easier to find the best price on great seats, seat views before you even buy the tickets in the app, and the lowest price guarantee. That means if you find a ticket in the same row, in the same section, for an event for cheaper, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And one of my favorite features on the Game Time app is one of their newest features. It's the Game Time Picks. This basically gives you the best bang for your buck, the best deals on the app. If you look at the picture on the left for Falcons against the Raiders on Monday Night Football, you see, first of all, I love the stadium view where it kind of shows you where in the stadium you'll be sitting. But the two features I have selected are the Game Time Picks, which shows you the very best deals on the app, and the all-in pricing, so you don't get bamboozled with last-second fees or expenses in the app. The price you see is the price you get. So get started today with our sponsor over on Game Time. Use that code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Create an account and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. So the reason to start AOC, if the Raiders aren't trying to tank, then it makes some sense to try to play Aidan O'Connell because he gives you the best chance to win. He is a better quarterback than Desmond Ridder. He's a better quarterback than Carter Bradley. So if you're trying to win, then AOC might go out there. And I know what y'all are all thinking. The Raiders have the number 1 pick right now. Why in the world would they try to win? Well, one of your best players on the team is saying, we're not tanking. That guy's Max Crosby. He said, no way. We're not trying to tank. He said, nobody on the Raiders is trying to tank. If we're trying to tank, then I'm not on the field. And we've seen Max Crosby out on the field. And actually, when you think about it, it makes a little bit of sense because I don't think the Raiders are necessarily tanking either. I mean, you look back to that Raiders-Bucks game this past weekend, the Raiders were in it for most of the game until that very last touchdown from Baker Mayfield. The Raiders were right there. It was a one-score game. It could have been anybody's game at that point. And the Raiders' defense looked like they were flying around. 3 turnovers up against Tampa Bay. And if Max Crosby is playing, that means they're trying to win. And Max Crosby more than likely is going to play on Monday night. Like I mentioned, AOC gives you the best chance to win up against the Falcons. So we'll kind of see what side of the coin the Raiders, what side of the coin Antonio Pierce and this front office is really going to do. Will they show their cards? Will they trot out Aidan O'Connell and say, no, I don't care about the number 1 pick. We're still trying to win. Or do they go with like a Desmond Ridder, a Carter Bradley, where it gives you a much less likely chance to win that ball game? I'm going to ask you folks at home, are the Raiders in full-on tank mode? I don't think they are right now. I think it's unfortunate. They've just lost a ton of games, and they're in this position with the number 1 overall pick. But what say you? Are the Raiders tanking on purpose? Are they losing on purpose? Let me know down in the comment section. Give me a yes. Give me a no. What do you think about the Raiders so far this season? Are they in full-on tank mode? Because as I mentioned, they have the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL draft right now. It's them, the New York Giants, and then you have the Patriots, Panthers, and Jaguars. And as you see, it's extremely close at the bottom for the NFL. 2-11, 2-11, and then 3 teams right there who are 3-10. I believe there's another team that is 3-10 as well. And the Raiders' schedule, the back half, you're playing against some not-so-good teams. The Atlanta Falcons have not been very good the past couple weeks. Jacksonville, another team that could be vying for one of the top picks in the NFL draft as well. They've got Mac Jones playing for them. Then you have the New Orleans Saints, who may or may not have Derek Carr. We don't know yet. He's dealing with concussion-like symptoms. He's also dealing with a hand injury. So his status for Week 17 is up in the air. And then Week 18, you play the Chargers. And depending on how their schedule lays out, they could be resting starters. So if you're trying to win, you might get 1 or 2 wins in these games. against teams that are not very good. So I think that'll show what the Raiders are trying to do, put their cards on the table. See what I did there? Las Vegas, put your cards on the table. I think it'll kind of show what they want to do moving forward, whether they're trying to tank, try to lose on purpose, or whether it's just happenstance and they are happening to lose all of these games. I know this, though. I know Raider fans have the just win baby mentality, and I know it's been very hard for a lot of people. Mitch in particular. Mitch has not been on Team Tank until probably a couple weeks ago. He was the just win baby mentality. But if we're being honest, to solidify the future of the franchise, you desperately need a quarterback to build around. Since prime Derek Carr, since Derek Carr looked like the Derek Carr of years ago, the Raiders have been searching for that QB1. They've been searching for that leader, that guy, that signal caller on the offense that can help lead this team in a tough division up against, the best team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. So for you to have any chance to beat those teams in the future, for you to have any chance of hoisting a Lombardi trophy in the next 5 years, you got to get the quarterback position right. And it seems the only way to do that is if you have the first or second pick in this year's draft. Once again, I'm filling in for my main man, Mitchell Renz. He's not able to be a part of today's show, dealing with an eye injury. So if you could, go spam those 365s. Go spam those, these emojis. Send Mitch the well wishes for a speedy recovery. Hopefully, he'll be good to go for Monday Night Football. I mean, him, Aidan O'Connell, both of their presence on Monday Night Football up in the air as of right now. So go spam those 365s, though. Give Mitch your well wishes. Like I said, more than likely, Mitch will be back on Monday Night Football. So don't miss his return. Hit that subscribe button and make sure you're tuned in for the latest Raiders news and rumors all year long. Curtis Bishop, thank you for the super chat. What if we got Watson and a first from Cleveland so he can be our bridge next year, and then we get a Travis Hunter and let Shedeur develop for a season? So what if we got Watson and so you're not going to get Watson and a first. If you trade for Watson, I know his contract's bad, but Cleveland's not going to give up a first-round pick and Deshaun Watson. I think if anything, Cleveland would maybe, this would be a trade where you see the Browns get a 4th or 5th round pick in return. If they're really trying to get off Watson and his contract, want to move on from him totally, you're not going to get a first for it. I think you'll have to give up maybe like a 4th or a 5th because of all things considered. I don't love that idea of bringing in Deshaun Watson. I'd rather let Shedeur cook. I'd rather, bring in another bridge guy. I'd rather bring in a bridge guy who brings in, less attention to himself. You don't want somebody who's going to upstage your young quarterback. You don't want somebody who's going to bring all that negativity, all that unwanted press, all that unwanted noise around the team in Deshaun Watson. I don't like that idea whatsoever. Nothing against you, Curtis. I don't think that's what you want to do for this locker room, because also Watson coming in, I don't think he's in the mindset of, I want to be a bridge quarterback. I want to be somebody who's going to teach the next guy. At one point, this dude was the highest paid player in the entire National Football League. So I don't think you go from forcing your way to Houston to be the guy somewhere else to then going, you know what, I'll be a backup. I'll be a bridge guy. I don't think that's Watson's MO. What do you think, Cullen?
Yeah, I don't want Deshaun Watson anywhere near a football team that I have any care in the world for. He stinks.
Yeah,
he's not a good quarterback
anymore. And if you thought the massage parlors in Houston were bad, you know how many spas are in Las Vegas? A lot. A lot of hotels, a lot of spas in Las Vegas. Not a good look. Not a good look. We had the last quarterback for the Raiders, Jimmy Garoppolo, had a deal from the Bunny Ranch for unlimited you-know-what. Imagine what they're going to give Deshaun Watson if he comes to Las Vegas. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. No chance. No way. No way. Rusty Nail says massage parlors in Vegas are on point. Yikes. Yikes. We have another super chat coming in from Ivan Estrella. Chuggs, who is your pro comp for Shedeur Sanders? My pro comp for Shedeur Sanders. That's a good question. I think, and a lot of people just seeing at it for face value, they'll be like, oh, Shedeur, mobile guy, mobile quarterback. That's not the case. He's not a mobile guy. He's really accurate in the pocket. I love his ability to stand in there and get hit and be able to deliver balls. I don't know, dude. Pro comps are always hard for me just because it's like nobody plays the exact same way as another person. Like it's
tough.
It's tough. I mean, if you're looking at Shedeur though, he's a pocket passer. He's a pocket guy.
Yeah.
This might hurt a lot of you guys out there and maybe close your ears if you hate the San Diego Chargers, but he shows me a little bit of Phillip Rivers. Being able to deliver in the pocket, being able to kind of move and send it deep. He has a really good deep ball, very accurate going down the field.
Yeah.
He reminds me of like that type of quarterback. I'm not saying he is Phillip Rivers, but more of that mold than a running quarterback. I see you say Dak and McNabb. Those guys are way more mobile than Shedeur Sanders. If you watch the tape with him in Colorado, he doesn't run the ball.
Right.
He's not a runner. He's not going to give you anything in the read option. He's not going to give you anything with, testing defenses with his legs. That's not who Shedeur Sanders is. And believe it or not, somebody who looks like Shedeur Sanders is not a great runner. I know, crazy to think that, but he's not. He's not a great runner of the football. So I would say Nick Baker says a better version of Teddy Bridgewater. I could kind of see that a little bit, maybe a little bit, but he's a guy who's which kind of like, I'm not saying he's like Tom Brady either, but more like Brady where he's going to pick you apart with his ability to get rid of the ball and make good decisions in the pocket.
Yeah.
That's where Shedeur is going to be able to do. If you watch what he's able to do at Colorado, the amount of times that he's delivered beautiful balls while getting hit in the pocket, that's something that translates to the next level. And I absolutely love that in Shedeur Sanders. But the running aspect of it, if you're asking, can he run the ball? No, not really. I mean, what do you think?
I've been kind of sitting here like scrambling my brain a little bit because you're right. He's more of a guy that stands in the pocket, goes through his progression. He's not afraid to take the deep shot. Phillip Rivers, I felt like was more of a, reckless type of quarterback at times. So, maybe not in Shedeur's way. To me, he reminds me, because he's 6'2", 215, at least that's what he's listed at on ESPN. He kind of reminds me more of a prime, and this is, again, if it all works out, a Matt Ryan. Prime Matt Ryan, exactly.
Look how athletic he looks.
Yeah. He just exudes it.
Yeah. What do you mean by what you just meant? What do you mean by you were in the... I'm not going to say. But yeah,
Probably.
Yeah, Mark Davis, if you're watching, hit me up.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
But yeah, that's who I would go with.
Chuck says, over 500 watching, only 216 likes. Come on, guys. Can we get the like numbers up? Can we get those like numbers up? Smash that like button. We're actually about to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Is he a package deal? Is Shedeur a package deal? That's what we're talking about next on the show. Joseph says, no fake fan here, bro. I've been down since before Jamarcus Russell. Oh, dude, props to you. Joseph, sorry you've had to endure that. Had to go through that. Sorry. All right, so we're going to talk about some Shedeur Sanders up next. Make sure, keep on getting those super chats in. Keep on getting those hashtag Raiders, because after this segment, we're going to go ahead and do a Raiders mailbag. Raider Marty says, Chuggs, if we didn't take Cam or Sanders, what quarterback would you take? See, that's a perfect question. Go ahead and slap hashtag Raiders on that bad boy. We'll get it in on the mailbag. That's going to happen after this segment. All right. Colin, you ready to rock? All right. Well, let me just make sure one thing. Okay, cool. Got prize picks. Cool. All right, here we go. Let's talk a little bit of Shedeur Sanders. The big question around Shedeur Sanders and drafting him in the 2025 NFL draft is he a package deal? If you draft Shedeur, does he have some extra baggage with him as well? Do you have to take somebody else? Do you have to bring somebody else on? Is he a package deal? Because right now, the Raiders currently hold the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL draft, and the smoke around Shedeur to Las Vegas, Well, it has been building up as fast as a forest fire. Only you can prevent forest fires out there. And ESPN, they just posted an article around Deion asking AP to draft those Sanders boys. It was joking. It was in a joking manner, but ESPN just made an article around it. And disclaimer from this story, because ESPN put it in that tiny font, italicized at the very top. The video that they cited in the article dates back to February, where both of those guys, I believe, were at a Super Bowl event at the time, kind of tongue-in-cheek messing around with each other. But what you can't mess around about is the fact that Las Vegas is eyeing Shedeur Sanders. Mitch has gone over it time and time again. Mel Kiper has linked Shedeur to the Raiders. Tom Brady, obviously, has a role with the Las Vegas Raiders organization. He has a relationship with Shedeur Sanders. Hell, your owner, Mark Davis, has a relationship with him. Max Crosby likes Shedeur. Deion could be forcing Shedeur into Las Vegas. And if you've been following Shedeur on Sundays, those thank you God tweets have been feeding families. And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that Mitch has broken it down time and time again on the channel, well, just go and look at this video right here. Big Raiders news. Deion adds more fuel to the fire. He breaks down all the stuff around Shedeur to Las Vegas and dealing with Deion Sanders as well. Once again, go hit that sub button and go check out that video. But it's obvious. The Raiders are interested in drafting Shedeur in round 1. I mean, we all know it. I know it. You know it. Unless you're living under a rock, you probably know that the Silver and Black have been looking at Shedeur Sanders for a while now. But the big question is, the number one thing that I think about with Shedeur going to Las Vegas is this. What else could that entail for the Silver and Black? Is it as easy as you just take Shedeur Sanders and that's it? You're good. Okay, cool. Shedeur's a Raider. Or could Deion, could they be asking for a little bit more from Mark Davis, a little bit more from this Raiders organization if they do want to select Shedeur Sanders first overall in the 2025 NFL Draft? I'll break down what that might be in just a moment, but got to show some love to our sponsor real quick, and that is Prize Picks. Get started today with America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Ho, ho, ho. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 200 times your money on Prize Picks. This football, basketball, baseball, hockey, hell, whatever sport you want. Go check it out today. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Sign up today and use that code CLNS. $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, they now offer MasterCard and Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your accounts this sports season. Prize Picks, it's the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long. And join now, because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Ho, ho, ho. So get started today with Prize Picks. This is my lineup for Monday Night Football. As of right now, because of the gray area around Aidan O'Connell and not knowing whether or not he's going to start, they don't have a ton on there. But what they do have, Brock Bowers, receiving yards. I'm with the more on that just because, I mean, it's Brock Bowers. He's the best tight end in the NFL. Give me the more on Brock. I also have Bijan Robinson. I'm going to go the more on him, 83.5 rush yards. The Raiders' defense against the run, especially late in games, has kind of been giving up some big runs. And Bijan, I think, is one of the most talented backs in the league. So I'm going to go the more on that. Kirk Cousins, on the flip side, has been having a down year. So give me the less on 242.5 pass yards. Use my picks. Going against my picks, just do it over on Prize Picks. Use that code CLNS once again and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Get started today with Prize Picks. Run your game. So a package deal. Could the Raiders be enticed to draft Shiloh if they select Shedeur in round 1? Shiloh Sanders, obviously the brother of Shedeur Sanders, and Deion has joked about it with Antonio Pierce saying, draft my boys, you better draft the Sanders boys. And we all know Shiloh and Deion have more pull than any other prospects in the past 20 years. Shiloh, Shedeur, Deion, the whole Sanders family, more than any other prospect, maybe since the Mannings. They have the most pull out of anybody I've ever seen going into an NFL draft. Where we've seen Deion, yes, he can say he's joked about it, but I truly do believe Deion could sway teams away from drafting him. If the Titans or the Jags have the number 1 pick and they even want to think about drafting Shedeur, I think Deion could have something to say about it. I think he could say, you know what, we're not doing that. We're not going to Tennessee. So with that being said, could they use that power? Could they use that persuasion that they have over teams to tell the Raiders, hey, you got to draft Shiloh if you want Shedeur? I'm going to ask you folks at home, would you draft Shedeur if it means you also have to draft Shiloh Sanders? Give me a yes, give me a no. Obviously, it's been joked about. It's been, take my boys. It's not take my boy. It's take my boys. Shedeur and Shiloh. So if it was up to you, if you were in the front office and Tom Telesco, Antonio Pierce go, hey, Taino Raider, DJ Loaded, Jason Slagle. Guys, what do we do here? What would you say? Would you draft Shedeur if it means you also have to take Shiloh? Everyone has speculated about Deion jumping to the NFL with Shedeur. But could we see his influence instead be on a team taking Shiloh Sanders? I think that could be the case because, he wants both of his guys to play in the NFL, both of his boys, not just Shedeur. He's also looking out for his other kid in Shiloh. And not even those two guys. We're also talking about just players from Colorado in general because he's acted like this with Shedeur, with Shiloh, and with Travis Hunter. Talking about, I want these guys to go to the right situations. I think his status gives his guys a lot more leverage being an NFL great, possibly the best defensive back of all time, the best, multi-sport athlete, the most, both sides of the ball. A lot of people think it's Deion. And could he use that platform to sway teams into drafting him? And we already have Travis Hunter talking about the Las Vegas Raiders as well. When he was asked on what the Raiders should do with that number 1 overall pick, Travis said, they should take me. But I'm pretty sure they will take a quarterback. As long as it's me or Shedeur, I'm good with it. And it's the best kept secret, or not the best kept, it's the worst kept secret how connected the Raiders are with Deion, his sons, and Travis Hunter. So I'm wondering, could this affect the way Las Vegas drafts this year? If they're looking to take a Shedeur Sanders, could Shedeur also have input on the next couple draft picks? Could Shedeur say, hey, I want this wide receiver. Hey, I want this offensive lineman. Hey, I want this guy. If you're building around me, I want to say in the team. We've already heard the jokes about, last year, Caleb Williams wanting part ownership in whatever team drafted him. We've seen players emboldened year after year saying, I want more. I want more stake. I want more say-so. I want more control over whatever team drafts me. I want to say. So if that's the case, if Shedeur really wants Shiloh, maybe the Raiders go ahead and grant his wish. Because, to be honest, Shiloh does fit something that the Raiders need. They will need safety help going into next year. It's honest. Let's be honest. You have Isaiah Palamau. Trevon Merrigan's a free agent. Marcus Epps, who's on IR, he's a free agent as well. You drafted Taylor in the 7th round out of Air Force. You have Cam Smith 2 years removed out of Georgia. You don't have a ton in your safety room, especially if you're not re-signing Marcus Epps or Trevon Merrigan. So honestly, my opinion is if it makes Shedeur happy, if that's the guy you want to build around, I'm okay with it. As long as it's not in the 2nd or 3rd round. The Raiders have 2 third-round picks in this year's draft. Those need to be around building around Shedeur Sanders, and Shiloh does not build around Shedeur Sanders. Even though it makes him happy, it doesn't make this roster that much better. So if it's a 4th, a 5th round, okay. I'd much rather it be a 5th or a 6th rounder if you're asking me. But I'm okay with that happening as long as it's not a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of changes in Las Vegas this offseason. And especially if you draft a guy like Shedeur Sanders, this organization, this team how this team does business is going to change. Whether you like it or not, adding Deion Sanders' son to your team is going to mean the dynamic of the front office, the dynamic of the coaching staff is going to change. So, if Shedeur, if Deion wants Shiloh, if they want the Sanders boys together on the same team, I think they could make that happen this offseason with the Las Vegas Raiders. Reminder, before I let you go, Mitch will be back on Monday Night Football, so don't miss his return. He's dealing with an eye injury right now, so send him your best wishes, send him your well wishes in the comments section. He would love nothing more than to be right here covering his favorite team for all of you guys, for Raider Nation. He loves y'all so much, and it's really killing him not being able to come into work this week. So if you could, send him some well wishes. Hopefully he will be back Monday night for Raiders Falcons, but you wouldn't know if you don't subscribe. So go hit that sub button, turn on those notifications to get daily Raiders videos all year long. Here we go. The bloodiest. Yeah, there we go. The bloodiest. Sanders and Deion will be the package. Raiders. That could be. There could be. They could be a package as well. I think less likely because Deion has a lot of respect for Antonio Pierce. They're good friends. Their friendship is well documented. So I think the more likely package deal is Shedeur with Shiloh. Because the odds that the Raiders get Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, it's slim to none. I don't think there's any way you're able to get those two guys. For you to trade up to get one of those two guys, because I believe those guys are going to be both top 3, if not top 5 picks. I mean, depending on whatever team's drafting 3, 4, and 5, there's no way Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders make it out of the top 5 picks in this year's draft. And for you to move up to get another top 5 pick, you'd have to give up so much if you're the Raiders. There's no way they're doing that. So the only package deal that makes sense to me with Shedeur is with his brother Shiloh. Because I don't think the Raiders are going to bring in Deion as a head coach because, one, AP's there. He's friends with AP. And two, how much do you think Deion would want in a contract to be the head coach of the Raiders? I think you're looking at the new highest paid head coach in the NFL if the Raiders want Deion to be their head coach next season. What do you think, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, is there a possibility of it? Sure. But I think Deion is really committed to coaching at Colorado.
Yeah. They just got a really high recruit as a quarterback.
Juju Lewis, yeah. I mean, he's phenomenal. Yeah, right? No, he's honestly really good. 5-star, originally committed, I believe, to USC, and now he's going there. And, look, he's building something there, and I think he, wants to leave his mark before he finishes. Obviously, doesn't look like Colorado's going to make the postseason this year. I'm sure Deion would at least like to try to get them to that point.
Yeah.
And, he's done so much for Travis, for Shiloh, for Shedeur, obviously. I just think that, this is where they kind of go their separate ways. And, Vegas seems to be the spot where Shedeur is probably going to land. But, I just don't see Deion leaving Colorado.
And Paul Rader, you hit the nail on the head right there. Deion gave his word to his new college quarterback recruit that he's going to be there for him. So, I mean, obviously, would it be the first time that somebody went back on their word and didn't come back to a team? No, look at Lincoln Riley going to USC, kind of leaving Norman overnight. I don't know if he's sitting there, but I know Sam Brown isn't a huge fan of my man Lincoln Riley.
He is. He's potted in over there.
he's AirPodded in. But wouldn't be the first time that somebody lied to somebody, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching an interview with Jed Fish, who's now the head coach of Washington. He was at Arizona before. And he was talking about how much he loved Arizona, the community built, blah, 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 blah. A week later, he took the Washington job. So, I mean, it literally happens all the time.
With that being said, I do agree, though. I don't think Deion's leaving. I don't think it makes a ton of sense for all parties involved, actually. I don't think it makes sense for the Raiders. I don't think it makes sense for Deion and Shedeur. I will say this, though. If the Raiders draft Shedeur and they are struggling his rookie season and he's not looking good, I could see at that point the second year of Shedeur, them being like, all right, Deion, come on down. We need you.
Exactly.
We need you. I think that is the most likely case that you see Deion in Las Vegas is if they draft Shedeur, him and the team are struggling again next season. That's when you break glass in case of emergency and call Deion Sanders, in my opinion. Before I go to this next super chat, though, I want to know from you folks at home, what position on the defense worries you the most next season? Because we talked about Shedeur Sanders. We talked about the need at the safety spot. Corner's a big concern. Middle linebacker's a big concern. Obviously, the defensive line, you're always going to be okay there as long as you have Max Crosby. You also have Christian Wilkins, who you signed this offseason, who's going to be coming back next year. But I'm going to say out of the three positions, cornerback, safety, linebacker, which one of those spots worries you the most going into next year on the defensive side of the football? Because obviously there's going to be an overhaul in the offense. You need offensive linemen. You need a quarterback. You'll need some more weapons. The entire offense you need to upgrade. You need a running back as well. But on the defensive side, there are still some holes on the back end there as well. I see a lot of cornerback. I see some middle linebacker. Taino says in this order: defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback, strong safety.
Yeah.
I think strong safety actually might be the number one biggest need for the Raiders on defense going into next season because, as I mentioned, you're not able to re-sign Trevon Merrick. You're not able to re-sign Marcus Epps.
Yeah.
Your best guy is Paul Mao, who's been decent. He's okay. He's a good rotational safety. But as the best safety on your team, that's not good news.
It's not.
That's not good news. This super chat coming in from Iova. Draft running back Scattaboo. Just for the name. I mean, is there anybody with a more fun name than Scattaboo?
I mean, it's up there.
Maybe that Eastern Michigan guy. But besides that, I can't think of another one.
I don't know what his name is, but I.
Oh, you don't?
No, don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Could you look it up and let me know?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Okay. Him and Sincere can be our Gibbs and Montgomery. Well, that is a large jump to the best running back duo in the entire National Football League, and saying Scattaboo and Sincere can be that. You hope that those two guys can be the Gibbs and Montgomery moving forward, but I mean, I don't know. I will say this is the best year in recent memory for teams needing running back help. If you need a running back, this could be a very good year for you going into next season. One more time, actually, before we get to the get to that, Cullen, I want to know, can we get some more questions in? How are we doing on questions, Cullen?
That's a great question. That is a great question.
That is a great question.
That's a great question. Let me look it up real quick. We're doing okay. We could definitely use some more.
Okay.
We use some more.
Okay.
We're doing okay.
Okay.
Doing okay.
Okay. Reminder, get those hashtag Raiders and super chats in on today's show. As always, we are doing a bang race this month. The winner gets this exclusive Raiders 1800 tequila bottle. They don't sell these. They send them out to people. 1800 actually sent Mitch this bottle, and we're giving it away to our December bang race MVP. So if you want a little special deal, 5 bangs today equals 15 on the bang race meter. You would be in first place for the month of December. So if you're looking to add something for the holiday season, and as I mentioned, cracking this open for a Raiders Super Bowl would be legendary. Could you imagine Raiders, the silver and black confetti falling down? You run over to your bar cart, you get the 1800 Raiders tequila bottle, shots all around. I mean, it's like a movie, Cullen, and not a bad one.
No, it wouldn't. And that thing's honestly sick. I mean, can you show that again?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at that. Logo and everything.
Logo and everything. They also, I've been covering it up with my hand a little bit, but on the top, you have the Raiders secondary logo. I don't know how much you can see, but you have the crest with the LV and the 2 swords. That kind of like secondary logo you have at the very top. I don't know.
Sweet. Pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. I like it a lot. All right. We're going to get into our last segment here on the show. So make sure you continue to get in those hashtag Raiders and super chats on today's show. We have some super chats that we can kind of roll through from today's show. How do we have a good amount of hashtag Raiders? Okay. All right. Reminder, You can continue to get your questions in throughout today's show for our Raiders mailbag. Just use that hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. And without further ado, Cullen, you ready to rock? All right, let's hit it. Before we get into our Raiders Report mailbag, I want to know from you folks at home, what do the Raiders need to do this offseason to turn things around? Obviously, it's been a tumultuous past couple of seasons. Mark Davis has not been the best decision maker, so I'm leaving it up to the nation, to Raider Nation. Let me know what Mark Davis has got to do this offseason to turn things around in Las Vegas. Welcome into the Raiders Report. I am your step-in host, Jeremy Chuggs, while Mitchell Renz is getting better from an eye injury. Give him some well wishes down in the comments section. I know he wants to be here so bad, but he's got to rest up that eye to be able to come back on Monday Night Football, so I'm the best you got right now. So all the questions from today's show are from our live audience on December 10th. So if there's anything that new happened, don't blame me, blame my producer, Colin. I'm just kidding. But let's get into the first question on today's show, and it is coming from the namesake of the show, Mr. Mitchell Renz. Who gives the Falcons a better chance to win? Is it Cousins or is it Penix? That is a good question. Cousins has been, como se dice, bad. He's been awful the past 4 games for Atlanta, and they drafted Michael Penix top 10 this past year for a reason. He's their guy of the future, supposedly, in Atlanta. So I don't know if Penix or Cousins gives you a huge advantage either way. I think Cousins has been really bad, so obviously seeing what you have in Michael Penix, the rookie, that could help you. That could maybe give you a little bit of a spark in this game. But I think more than anything, the quarterback on the Raiders side, I think if it's Aidan O'Connell or Desmond Ridder, that's going to be the deciding factor. If it's Desmond Ridder, I don't think the Raiders have a shot to win on Monday Night Football. It's AOC. I think there's a chance. But for this question, I think Cousins still gives you the slight edge. He is a veteran. He has been there, done that before. I think he gives you the slight edge if you're the Falcons on Monday night. But I would personally like to see what Michael Penix can do. Next up, let's look at Ron Raspberry, hashtag Raiders. If we get Sanders or Ward in the first round, what position do we draft next? Thank you for this question, Ron. And I think the next position that you got to draft, the next position that you got to look at if you're the Raiders is offensive line. Colt Miller is a big question mark there at left tackle. He has, I believe, no guaranteed money after this season left on his contract. He's going to be wanting a new deal, and he hasn't necessarily had the best season for the Silver and Black. Also, DJ Glaze, a rookie. Okay, Andre James at center. Looks like it's JPJ's job. And then you have Dylan Parham. You have the other guard spot. A lot of question marks on this offensive line, and regardless of who you draft, if you draft Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, you got to protect them up front. You got to help them out. Look at Bo Nix in Denver. He's doing really well, and you want to know why he's doing really well? The Broncos are bottom 5 in pressures allowed this season to the quarterback. He's had a lot of time. He's had a lot of protection from that Broncos offensive line, and that leads to the rookie being more comfortable and being able to make more plays. So if you're the Raiders, if you draft a quarterback in round 1, I think your next pick ought to be an offensive lineman. Let's go next to Mitch's eye patch. Arrgh! I love that name. Hashtag Raiders. Thoughts on trading for Kirk while his stock is so low and drafting Travis Hunter? Wow. First of all, I don't know exactly what it would cost to trade for Kirk Cousins. As you mentioned, his stock is pretty low right now. He has not played well for Atlanta. And if that's the case also, would you want to trade for a guy who's kind of towards the end of his career and has not been playing his best ball? Obviously, Travis Hunter is one of the best prospects coming out of this year's draft and maybe the most talented guy in this year's draft. But I don't think the Raiders are in a position to make that move with how the quarterback position has been the past 2 seasons. Going through guys like Jimmy G, Brian Hoyer, Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell. That's not a great list of guys. So adding Kirk Cousins, I don't know if that helps you as much rather than trying to draft the guy of the future, because I think if you trade for Kirk Cousins, it's still putting a Band-Aid on a huge wound that maybe he plays okay next year and you're hoping that he is not a total shell of himself. But at the same time, you want to build for the future. This team isn't ready to win right now. They still are a couple pieces away. So I'd like to draft a younger guy and build towards that for the next year or two if you're Las Vegas. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more Raiders draft content and off-season content. We are the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube, especially in the off-season. We're going to bring you all 7 rounds of the NFL draft, all the draft content leading up to that, and then plus the trades, free agency, everything you need to know about the Raiders, the NFL during this offseason, we got you here on the Raiders Report. So hit that subscribe button and join over the 180,000 people who have joined Raider Nation here on the Raiders Report. Let's go up next to a super chat from Carter Harlow. Is it worth it to even try to get a running back with your first 4 picks, especially needing linemen? I see that, Carter, and I tend to agree because, as I've said time and time again on this show, this running back class this season is phenomenal in this 2025 NFL draft. There's a lot of really good guys. And yes, but the only thing is you have 2 third-round picks. With that second third-round pick, if you're looking at a guy that you know is just a great talent, maybe the running back from Iowa, Caleb Johnson, maybe Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State, those guys I could see going somewhere in round 2, round 3. Maybe the kid from Penn State, Omarion Hampton from, North Carolina? Harvey from UCF. There is a ton of good running back talent in this year's draft. And if you're sitting there with your second, third round pick and you see a guy who you're like, dude, this guy could be our starter for the next 4 seasons, help out. Maybe you bring back Sincere McCormick and kind of help him out a little bit and bring a guy who can be a starter for you for the next 4 seasons. I think it's worth it. Now, if you don't have a guy there in the 3rd round, yeah, go ahead and get a running back in the 4th or 5th round. But if you're staring at a talent and he is obviously the best player on your board, I think it's okay going running back with one of your 3rd round picks in this year's draft. 93 Navman. Any idea what the tank rant was from Graphic? I missed it. By the way, got the salute to service football. It is sick. Thanks, fellas. Navman, we salute you. Salute to your service. No, I do not know what the tank rant was on with Graphic. I don't know if it was around the military. I don't know if it was around the Raiders and them not playing well this season. I don't know. Not sure. I do know, though, we here at the Raiders Report have been members of Team Tank just because we want that quarterback. We want that first overall pick. And not in the way of tanking and losing games on purpose and not playing well. Because if you watch the Raiders versus Tampa Bay, they were giving it effort. They were in that game all the way up until the 4th quarter. I think it's okay to lose. I think it's okay to accept losing and saying, hey, we're going to get the first overall pick. I don't think you should roll over and just die and not play, though. I think guys like Max Crosby, guys in this locker room have too much of pride in themselves and pride in this organization to just go out like that and not play good football. I think they're still going to play their hearts out. I just think at the same time, they're not a very talented football team this year. There's a ton of injuries on both sides of the football, and that has led to them having the #1 pick so far. But appreciate you, Nav, man. Also appreciate the sponsor of today's show, and that is Game Time. The best place to find last-second tickets is over there on the Game Time app. I remember going to sporting events with my family as a kid, going to concerts, going to comedy shows, and some of those are the best moments that I've had growing up and in my lifetime. And those moments are made possible with an amazing sponsor just like Game Time. They allow you to buy tickets all the way up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts, you can see your seat view, all in the app, the lowest price guaranteed, and all of it with just a few taps on your phone. So get started today with the Prize Picks app. They also have a new feature called the Game Time Picks. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Like I said, all-in pricing. It shows you exactly what the price is before you buy the ticket. You don't have to worry about being bamboozled with last-second this and that, getting extra fees at the very end. The price you see is the price you get over on Game Time. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Thank you to our sponsor over there on Game Time. Just Chuggin says, any chance the Raiders sign a QB and trade back to draft Ashton Jeanty? Okay, I see what you're doing there. I hate it. I do not want it. The idea of the Raiders having the first overall pick, having a top 3 pick, and going back to get a running back when you need a quarterback, that makes me want to throw up. I hate it. I hate that idea. I'm not listening to it because you need a quarterback. Forget about running back. Forget about wide receiver. Maybe even forget about the offensive line because none of that matters if you don't have a quarterback. So if you're not addressing that quarterback position first, and I honestly don't think you're going to sign anybody that's going to be good for the future for this team, you need to draft a guy. Even though Ashton Jeanty is a special talent, and I think he will be possibly the only running back in the first round of this year's draft, even though there's a ton of talent, I think he'll be the guy who goes in round 1. I don't think he goes in the top 10. I think, there's some people who are thinking he goes in the top 10. Reminder, Jeanty is also pretty small and also went to a smaller school. Yes, Boise State is in the college football playoff, and maybe he proves me wrong. Maybe he absolutely goes off in the playoffs and Boise State makes a magical run. But unless that happens, I see Jeanty as a player that's going in the 20s. And for you to trade all the way back to that position to get a running back, no thank you. No thank you. Next question. Coming in from Rebel Montana. Mark Davis selling his Raiders stake. Is it good? I mean, I'm not sure. Because, at this point, you got your GM in Tom Telesco. You have your coach in AP. Behind the scenes, how much does that affect the team? I know people are very against Mark Davis, and they've wanted him to sell the team. They've wanted him out for so long. I don't know what difference that makes right now. I think, first off, you got to get your quarterback. You got to get the guys on the field right. Antonio Pierce, you got to evaluate him as your coach moving forward, and you got to continue to build this team. All that matters way more than whether or not Mark Davis is in the owner's box, in my opinion. Real Cowboy 307. Keep AOC or sign Fields as a bridge starter for 1 year and draft Warder Sanders. Get well soon, Mitch. Thank you for the well wishes to my main man, Mitchell Renz. Keep AOC or sign Fields as a bridge starter. Okay. I wouldn't mind signing Fields as a bridge starter if you feel like Warder Sanders needs to sit for a season. Obviously, Fields has been the backup for Pittsburgh. He started the season for them. Russell Wilson came in, and now he's been kind of a gadget guy there in Pittsburgh. Will Fields sign with the Raiders? I'm not sure. I think more than likely he re-signs with the Steelers because him and Mike Tomlin have a really good connection, and I could see him saying, you know what, Russell Wilson's got maybe 1 year left. I continue to be on this team, and I take the mantle for the Steelers once he's gone. I could see that happen. Fields coming to Las Vegas, I don't know if he wants that deal either, because if he goes to Las Vegas instead of Pittsburgh, he's much less likely to eventually be the guy in Las Vegas than he is to be the guy in Pittsburgh if he just stays there and is the backup gadget guy for the Steelers. Because if he's signing with the Raiders and they have the #1 overall pick and they're taking a quarterback, well, the clock is ticking. He knows sooner rather than later, he's going to be booted as the starting quarterback. So if you're Fields, which one would you rather do? I think if I'm Fields, I'd rather stay in Pittsburgh rather than go to Las Vegas if that's the case, and not kind of open myself up to criticism on a team that hasn't looked that good this season, rather than play for a team in Pittsburgh who has a really good thing going, and he could possibly just kind of take the mantle from Russ after he leaves the league. Search high. Jeremy, is it over for offensive lineman Dalton Wagner? Unfortunately, I do think it could be over for him. He was a fun project, big guy, and once Carmen Bracillo left the Raiders as their offensive line coach, it kind of changed the philosophy. It kind of changed the scheme of what this Raiders team likes to do up front. Because Carmen Bracillo was a big, give me a massive human being and let me mold him. And Dalton Wagner is just that. They got him out of Arkansas. He's a huge, huge, huge person. Does he have the skills, though? I don't think he's fully there. He needs to be developed. And by the time that he's going to be ready, I think the Raiders are going to go ahead and already draft a couple tackles, offensive linemen in this year's draft. So Dalton Wagner could be a guy who sticks around, is a backup, but I don't see him at any point being the guy starting at left or right tackle for Las Vegas. Raiders on top. Ooh, good question. You can only extend two. Jack Jones, Robert Spillane, Malcolm Kuntz, Trevon Merrick. I'm going to ask, if you're watching right now, you tell me in the comment section too. You got to pick two of these. Jack Jones, Robert Spillane, Malcolm Kuntz, Trevon Merrick. Which two are you extending? I think if I can only extend two, I think it'll be tough. Give me Robert Spillane and Malcolm Kuntz. I'm going to say this. Robert Spillane is your guy in the middle. He is the, green dot. Obviously, Max Crosby is the heart and soul of this team. If Max Crosby is the heart and soul, I think Robert Spillane might be the backbone. He's the guy who kind of gets everybody ready, is the guy that gets everybody in order. I think he's a very important part of this defense, and he's a hidden gem that you found. He was a guy that you signed in free agency who people didn't really expect a ton from him, and he has well then overplayed his contract and what his expectations were coming into Las Vegas. So I would go ahead and re-sign Robert Spillane. And in Malcolm Kuntz, I think you can actually get him on a very cheap contract if you want to re-sign him for a 1 or 2 year deal. I think that could be good for the Raiders. Edge has been a very, very popular position in free agency, and you've seen guys getting bukus of money. I mean, look at the Eagles, what they did this offseason with signing, what's his name? Bryce Huff. They signed him to a massive contract. He hasn't done that much. So edges are getting a ton of money, and possibly you can get a guy who already knows the system, who's very good in Malcolm Kuntz at a cheaper deal, a little bit of a discount. That's why I'm going Kuntz and then Spillane as well. J-Row 182. If Chuggs makes the final call, you picking Sanders or Ward with the first round pick. What are the odds they take Travis Hunter? I think slim to none that they take Travis Hunter. I think if I'm making the call, I think I got to go with Sanders. I think I got to go with Shedeur Sanders over Cam Ward, just because the writing's kind of been on the wall. He wants to be a Raider so freaking bad. And don't you want somebody on your team, especially the signal caller, especially the captain, especially the guy, don't you want him to have that pride, have that, sense of I'm playing for this team? I think Shedeur brings that. You can say what you want, and I won't lie. I've said stuff about his character in the past. I've given, he has character concerns. I think his, maybe it's me getting a little bit older and being like, get off my porch, but I think his celebration stuff, extracurricular stuff, online, has kind of blurred my vision a little bit on Shedeur Sanders and how he'll be transitioning into the NFL. But at the end of the day, I do think he's a really good talent, and I think the Raiders can be a lot better with Shedeur Sanders under center. Last question coming in from Iova. Draft Scadaboo and have him and Sincere be our Gibbs and Montgomery. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, I think that is way too high of a mark to say you want Scadaboo and Sincere to be like Gibbs and Montgomery, somebody who they signed in free agency, gave a pretty penny to, and then somebody who they drafted in round 1. I think Scadaboo is going to be somewhere in that 3rd, 4th, 5th, maybe 6th round of the NFL draft, especially being a running back. I mean, whenever there's a run on running backs, I think he's going to be in that mix, that shuffle where they're like, oh, wow, you just saw 4 running backs come off the board. I think he'll be in something like that during the NFL draft. I don't think that those two guys can end up like Gibbs and Montgomery, but the hope is that they somewhat solidify this Raiders backfield. You know, you had Josh Jacobs. He's looked pretty good in Green Bay, but has a hefty price tag on it. If you can get two guys who are really good and sincere and Scadaboo and get them on very cheap contracts and build this offense out, I think that's a good sign for what's to come for Las Vegas. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Like I said, this was filmed on December 10th, so if there's anything out of date, don't blame me. Blame my producer, Colin. I'm just kidding. But make sure you hit that sub button. Make sure you join us for more Raiders videos this week and a watch party for Monday Night Football. Be there, be square as the Raiders take on the Falcons. We will be live here on the channel, so hit that sub button and turn on your notifications. Navman, 93 Navman, hashtag Raiders, got in a little late. Send 50-50 to your Venmo since Mitch has got an itchy eye. I told him not to go down there in Chinatown. One, hilarious. We're not doing a 50-50 raffle today, though, Navman. We only have one deal going on today, and it's a bang deal because, as I mentioned, the December Bang Race MVP gets this bad boy. 1,800 Raiders Edition tequila bottle. They don't sell these. This was sent to us from the 1,800 company. They wanted to show some love to Raider Nation, so they sent this out to us. And in return, we're going to send this bad boy to the December Bang Race MVP. So basically the deal is for every bang that you send today, it counts as, another one. So if you send in one bang, it counts as one. If you send in two, it counts as two bangs. If you send in three, that one counts as three. In total, if you send in 5 bangs, it'll equal 15 bangs overall. And if somebody sends in 5 bangs or a gong, then me or Luigi is going to hit the boot. Thank you for your super chat, though. Now, man, Noah Santana, you guys had a chance you have a channel for baseball specifically. No, but we have a guy for baseball. His name is Jackson Ladare. He's one of the ad ops guys. He sometimes produces here at Chat Sports, but he is our main baseball guy here at the company. So if you want more baseball content, go follow him on Twitter, Jackson Ladare. That is his name. Curtis Bishop was thinking how we can get Hunter and Shedeur. You can't. There's no way. There is no possible. Unless you're willing to give up all your picks in this year's draft, your first and second round pick next year, and I don't even know if that's enough to get both Shedeur and Hunter. Like I said, they're both going to be top 3, top 5 picks. There's no way you're trading up to get that. The only way the Texans were able to do that a couple years back with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson is because they had another first-round pick from the Deshaun Watson deal. So unless, Curtis, I say the only way you do this, and let me know if you would do it down in the comment section, the only way this happens is if you trade away Max Crosby and you get a boatload of picks and you're able to trade up. Would you do that? Would you trade Max Crosby so you can get Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders? Because that's the only way that's happening. That's the only way. Do you see another way?
I don't see another way. I'm going to be honest.
There's no way.
It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen.
There's no chance.
If they get 2 Buffaloes, it will be Shiloh and Shedeur.
Yeah. Travis Hunter, Shedeur are both going to be top 5 picks. You don't have enough ammunition. You don't have enough draft capital to make that move. So, like I said, unless you give the most insane deal that we've seen since Ricky Williams was traded for every single pick by the Miami Dolphins, or what was it? Was it the New Orleans Saints gave up every pick for Ricky Williams? Is that what it was?
Oh, I think it was
Petey, was
It was
that
the
right?
Saints. It was
Was it the Saints that gave up every pick for Ricky Williams? Who gave up all their picks for Ricky Williams? No, I thought
hold on.
I thought a
Yeah,
team
yes.
traded all their picks for Ricky Williams. For Herschel Walker?
Ricky Williams. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Yeah, no, it was. Yeah.
It was? Okay, yeah.
So the Saints traded a first-round pick, a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a fifth-round pick, a sixth-round pick, a seventh-round pick, and then an additional first and a third for Ricky Williams.
Yeah. So yeah.
Now, granted, it was a draft pick that they used to take Ricky, but
yeah, they traded up for Ricky Williams, but
Yeah.
was they traded first, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, first, third, all for Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to do that for Travis Hunter,
yeah,
then maybe.
maybe.
The real cowboy, it was Mike. Yeah, Mike Ditka was the coach. Mike Ditka was
Yeah.
the coach in New Orleans when that happened.
93
I remember now. I was just because I know Ricky Williams then went to play for Miami, and I think they traded for him, but I was just getting it all stuck in my head of what was what. We have another super chat coming in from Real Cowboy, who gave me some help a little bit. He said,
Well, so this one's new too.
"Oh, this one. Oh, Navman. Sorry, I didn't even see that one. What is the best fake story we can make up about Mitch's eye issue? IG goes wild on Mitch eye rumors."
It's a good one.
The craziest. I don't know, Cullen. What do you think? What do you think the craziest lie that we could come up about Mitch's eye issue?
Biggest lie. I don't know. It's a good one. I mean, it was so random. Like when it happened, it was just like, wait, what? You can't see?
Yeah.
Like it was wild when he came in.
Rebel says
Read my reply.
Marsh was punching the air while watching the Knicks. Almost gave the game away. Mitch was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Wow.
So it all comes back to Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That's what
Makes
they're saying.
sense. Is Buddy Buddy Bear was watching at some point.
He is. Let me know. I need to show you something.
You need to show me something. Is it good or bad?
Big.
It's big? Oh, wow.
Not good or bad.
Tell Buddy Bear.
Big.
Show yourself.
Is Buddy Bear in the chat right now?
Well, first of all, you got his name wrong.
Lord Buddy Bear.
Lord Buddy Bear.
Is he here?
Real Cowboy, did somebody
I'm not
fart on
seeing him
Mitch's
in the
pillow?
chat, at least.
I don't think so.
Is
Yeah.
Lord Buddy Bear not here?
Not in the chat.
He was in the chat earlier. I saw him chat earlier. I don't know where he is now.
If y'all see him, let me know so I can come show Jeremy what I want to show him.
I don't know.
That's messed up, Lord Buddy Bear.
I don't know.
It's a big deal.
It's a very big deal, clearly.
It is huge.
Taino, he poked himself in the eye and is now having emergency penis reduction surgery.
What's up, Rebel?
That's pretty hilarious.
No Lord Buddy Bear today. That's upsetting.
Glory
It's
hole
a little
accident
upsetting.
from Dave.
We'll let you know if he shows up.
Yeah,
though.
no.
What-
If Buddy Bear
Marsh,
shows up-
what would be the fake story that you would give around Mitch's eye?
He licked my butthole.
We'll get the wheels turning a little bit more here later, Navman. But I like what I've seen in the comment section so far. Real Cowboy says Mike Ditka traded his whole draft for Williams. Yep, that's the guy I was looking for. Mitch is in the chat. That's actually funny.
That's funny.
That's Real Cowboy is helping me out. I was trying to remember who traded all those picks for Ricky Williams. Next up, John Rodriguez. I'd prefer to get Hunter in the first and the Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe in the second. I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to fall into the second round. I think Jalen Milroe is a teen. He gives me a teen vibe.
Interesting.
Where he's going to go like maybe a preteen, maybe 11, 12.
Maybe.
But I see him going anywhere from 10 to 15. That's the range I see Jalen Milroe going.
Here's a question. What quarterback that we know isn't good is going to shoot up draft boards this year and go way higher than they should be drafted, in your opinion? It may be Milroe, to be honest.
Yeah, Milroe could get that treatment. I know a lot of people here are really high on Dylan Gabriel. I mean, if he absolutely
Interesting.
balls out and the Oregon Ducks win the national championship this year, I could see a team taking him in maybe the second, third, or fourth round, where I think he's more of a fourth, fifth, sixth round guy. Especially because of his size. I think he's like, what is he? Like
he's
5'10"?
tiny. I mean, yeah. He's not a big dude. Also, like, Oregon's offense is almost quarterback proof.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of, like, what they did with Bo Nix last year. A lot of quick
But then
game.
again, I said Bo Nix was going to suck. And our Broncos host has reminded me that I've said that multiple times. So, and he has in fact not sucked. So
Gabriel is 6 foot flat.
that's a lie.
That's what it says on ESPN.
Whatever it says on ESPN, whatever it says on Oregon's pamphlet that they hand out to everybody on game days, no way. I think Dylan Gabriel during the combine, you're going to see he's 5'10" and 3/4.
I can see that. He doesn't look like he's 6 foot, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think he's a little shorter than that.
Maybe.
Everybody, I remember, and if you ask Marshall Green, our quarterback at North Texas was Mason Fine while we were there. And in the program, it was like, oh, he's 5'11". I saw him at the bars, no chance. I'm 5'10" and 3/4.
Yeah.
He was shorter than me. No shot. Some people were saying Ewers. I think there's actually a chance that Ewers, I think more than likely he enters the draft this year. I don't think he's the Texas quarterback next year. I think they're handing it to Arch.
Yeah.
Do you think he could possibly transfer? I'd say it's 75-25 draft to transfer.
I'm not even going to lie. It's going to come down to how he performs in the playoff.
Yeah. The SEC championship was not a good look for Quinn.
No. But if he goes out and, balls out, however far Texas gets in the playoff, I could see him going out.
Yeah. Real Cowboy, did someone fart on Mitch's pillow? Maybe.
Who did it?
Who did it? Pillow smells like pennies. John Rodriguez, Chuggs, what's wrong with Mitch's brown eye? LOL. Did someone turn his brown eye blue? Tell her you want to see her whispering eye. Tell her you want to see her whispering eye.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. That's funny. All right. Well, that's all we have for today's show. Thank you to everybody for joining our live show once again. I know Mitch really badly wanted to be here. He's at home getting better, taking medicine, trying to do the necessary steps so he can come back and be as close to 100% as he possibly can. Navman says Alex saw a donkey trying to break in the house and beat the brakes off with him.
Break the brakes off of him. All right, that's what it's supposed to be.
Maybe. Rebel says let's go home, and I tend to agree. Go home, Marshall, and me and Cullen will go home. Once again, shout out to my man Cullen, a.k.a. Luigi, even though that might be controversial.
I know.
Now, do we have to retire the Luigi?
Y'all let us know.
Let me know down in the comment section, and if you even know what I'm talking about, let me know what you think about that. From me, from Cullen, from Mitch watching at home, and from the entire Chat Sports crew, thank you for watching today's live edition of the Raiders Report. I will be back Thursday Night Football. Actually, me and Cullen/Luigi will be here for Thursday Night Football, so don't miss out. Curtis Bishop with another super chat says CLV would have to give their first this year and a conditional pick to get rid of Watson. So if we take Watson, no, they would. Curtis, that's not happening. Cleveland's not giving away a first-round pick to get rid of Deshaun Watson. That makes no sense. That means you can't draft a quarterback. You can't draft somebody to replace him. Why would you do that to get rid of the contract? That's not happening. So we're not. I don't think there's a way. Even if you did trade for Watson, I think you at the end of the day would still have to give the pick to Cleveland. I don't think there's a way that Cleveland gives you Watson and says, "Hey, here's a first-round pick as well." Yeah, I think I agree, Rebel. I think the Browns would, if it came down to that, the Browns would just release him and eat the money rather than give away a first-round pick. That makes no sense, Curtis. No sense. I like what you're thinking, though. I can see you want Shedeur and Travis Hunter. There's no way that's happening unless, like I said, you trade one of your best players like a Max Crosby, and that's not happening. So, but that's why we're here. for the discourse, for the talking about the Raiders, for the talking about the NFL, and to give y'all more content. As always, like I said, thank you guys so much. Mitch said, thanks, guys. Had a good doctor appointment today. Shout out to Mitchell Renz, my guy. Thank you guys so much. Me and Cullen will be back Thursday night for Thursday Night Football, so don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications.